ABSL has been studying business services sector for 15 years, publishing various reports and analysis. This year, for the first time, we decided to define and measure the sector at the European level. We are pleased to present you with the report, which provides key insights into the business services sector in Europe, but also confirms its significant role for the European economy and its potential to support competitiveness and the growth of Europe. As a starting point for the study, which ABSL conducted in cooperation with Accenture, we propose a new definition which reflects the perspectives of all stakeholders. We understood that the recent changes to the business models, digital transformation, and also some external tensions are forcing significant adjustments. Consequently, the definitions which have been utilized in the past are no longer valid. The report, which is published today, defines the sector, estimates its size and the value, but it also indicates a number of threats and opportunities which we need to face, as the sector is an integral part of the ecosystem which we all create together. But the point is that we all depend on the business services. No company or institution can operate today without a variety of business functions. And these functions are de facto business services. But we all see the sector slightly differently. So let's start with someone from Central or Eastern Europe, or from the country like Spain or Portugal. And the person from these places will see the sector mainly through the prism of the global shared service centers, which are so well represented in this country. However, it looks differently for the person in Paris or Zurich, where most of the sector is seen as the administrative or business functions at the company headquarters. Another example can be the understanding of the sector by manufacturing company, for which the sector's functions will be a great potential for optimization or even strategic outsourcing. On the other side, we may have a pure service providers, the big companies, where the business services lie in the core of their business and the business strategies. So for these companies, the entire companies will be in the core of the sector and will be counted as the part of the sector. The same applies to different views of stakeholders who represent public institutions on a regional or national level. But to truly embrace the scale and the significance of the sector, let's have a look at the numbers.
Okay. The moment we adopted a new definition, we fast realized that our prior estimates will have to be modified. That is, the true size of the sector and its impact on the economy are much larger. According to our analysis, the sector generates approximately 3.5 trillion euros of gross value added, which translates into an impressive 20.4% of EU27's GDP. Employment-wise, we see that the sector employs in the wider Europe 38.1 million of white-collar professionals, including the ones employed in centers in areas like IT, advanced analytics, and R&D. It also translates to 31.5 million jobs in EU27 alone. What is worth stressing is that around 1/3 of the potential is in knowledge-intensive business services. 1 in 6 is actually employed in the most efficient part of the sector, that is the specialized SSC, BPO, GPS, IT, and R&D centers. Looking ahead, we see that the sector is thriving and will be thriving with a forecasted annual growth rate of 4%, which more or less means that by 2030 we can expect the employment only within the EU27 to reach 40 million thresholds. At the same time, we expect the knowledge-intensive business services to grow even at faster rate, at 6% per annum, which more or less means that by 2030, within the EU 27 alone, it will sum up to 15 million professionals. So let's have a look once again at the key numbers. 20.4% of share in Europe's GDP, 38.1 million professionals across wider Europe nowadays, and 40 million professionals employed in the sector by 2030 in EU 27 alone. Continuing with the significance for the European economy, we have to stress several elements. So the sector plays a critical role in digital transformation of key stakeholders and the economy at large. The sector at the same stage plays a key role in innovation, being one of the most innovative sectors of the European economy. And last but not least, it is fundamental for talent pool development. As we have seen in the prior slides, we are talking about 40 million of professionals across Europe. Now, going into the analytics related to trade, we see that Europe still has global impact. It means that we still see that Europe has a strong comparative advantage, with 51% of global exports in knowledge-intensive services actually originating from Europe, and 1/3 of trade, of total trade, global trade, being actually intra-European. Last but not least, the sector is critical for geopolitical resilience and supports stability of European value-added chains. So summing up, if you think about the size and significance, we see clearly that the sector plays a fundamental role for the competitiveness of Europe and actually the future of the continent. Now, what we have analyzed in the report, one of the elements of the report was a PESTLE analysis, where we actually focused on elements related to leveraging strengths and seizing the opportunities. What we should really focus on is to enhance innovation through AI development and utilization, and also utilize different emerging technologies. We should also capitalize on nearshoring to counter global tensions. It is quite clear that we observe geostrategical fragmentation of the world, where nearshoring or backshoring are going to play a major role. In here, we see a potential for both Central Europe and the remainder of the continent, like Portugal, to actually obtain new investments. Last but not least, what we should really focus on is to maintain flexibility, and actually what we strive for is balanced regulation to sustain our competitiveness and innovation of the continent. Well, in here we should build our foundation built on 3 elements, 3 T's, so talent, technology, and transformation. With that, we would like to finish off. What we are really striving for is to help Europe advance towards a more competitive, innovative, and sustainable future. I'd like to thank you, both me and Darek. If you are interested in the report, you can now download it. Here you have the link. Thank you very much.